Vic, listen, you've been around this league a long time. I appreciate that question. We remain confident in our process and what we're doing. It's about going against, really just when you look at ourselves, right, we have to continue to grow as a football team. That's true every year. And every year, every team that wants to do anything at a high level goes through ups and downs of the season. When you look at the last two teams we played, two very strong teams, arguably two of the best teams in the NFL last season, right? So what we do is we look at where we are in relation to where we need to be and the gap that's there. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small. And so no team in the NFL, in particular our team, is where we need to be. The key is, as coaches and as players, that we continue to grow and adjust and develop what we have and remain confident in what we're doing. 4-0 to now losing the last two, certainly some things have shown up that we have to get corrected, and we address those in truth, and we move forward as a football team.
And Sean, one follow-up, is it fair for you as a coach and for everyone in that organization to expect the guys are your big-time players to rise to that occasion? We've seen this we saw it with the Chiefs Monday night after their loss to the Raiders. And if you go back in years with the Bills, it seemed like those teams that were sustainably great or really good, they're big guys, they're big time guys that eventually would wear yellow jackets, would rise to that occasion. You look at your team, I don't know who's going to ever rise to that level as individual in their careers, but in the here and now, Josh and all your guys, what's your sense of like, hey, it's time, guys, you gotta step up here?
Well, it's it's a team approach though too, Vic. I mean, you can't just hinge on one or two players' shoulders or what have you. I mean, if you want to put it on anybody's shoulders, put it on mine. I've got big shoulders. So that's the role of the head coach. Outside of that, it's what can we do better as a football team? And it's got to be a team first approach, and we've got to hang together. Listen, the reason why when you see grown men cry when they hold that trophy at the end of the year is because it's hard, right? It's hard, man, to get to where you're trying to go. And it's never easy. We were 15-1 in my career at one point, and it wasn't easy then either. So we're 4-2 right now, and that's in the past. And so what we can control is what's ahead of us, our attitude, our effort, our energy, our preparation. And we're going against a Jets team that certainly has struggled this year at times, but they're a good football team with talent on that roster. And we've got to earn the right to win this week as we move forward here.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Morning, Sean. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Sal?
Good. My question is about, you guys, since you and Brandon have come here, you've brought in a lot of former Panthers players, and for good reason in several of those cases. My question is, as you guys are now going on 5 years removed from Carolina, does that pipeline start to dwindle because you just don't have the same connection maybe with some of those people? Even the people who run that organization are now different than when you were there. Does that pipeline start to dry up a bit, you think, as we move on?
Naturally, yeah, son, naturally. And look, at the end of the day, what that gives us, where we came from, gives us just familiarity and knowledge of who those people are and those players are. It's just, a little bit more awareness to who they are, and that's part of why we brought them here. But within that, they still got to be good players, right? And then going forward is, to your point is, hey, we don't know those players as well. It's been a while since we've been there. The roster's changed in a lot of ways. The building's changed. So I think that's natural as the years build that'll thin out.
Have you been happy? I mean, I don't judge all 20 guys that have come or whatever, but have you been generally happy with what you got from those guys based on what you knew about them, and the reason why you brought them in?
Oh, I'd say just in addition to the Panthers guys we brought in, guys we've known and been around before, whether it's Carolina, Philadelphia, whatever. I think those, at the end of the day, have turned out better than average, right? So I've been pleased with that. Now, that doesn't mean that every decision we've made in that regard is perfect and has worked out. Certainly, some of those haven't. But at the end of the day, I think, knowledge and awareness and familiarity with people is important.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, Sean, Thad Brown. I wanted to ask, you talk about wanting the team to grow every week. How do you measure that growth this week when you're going up against a team, as you said, that's been struggling this year and is, significantly different than the last two teams you played in terms of their record and their success level this year?
Well, it starts, as far as the opponent goes, with healthy respect every week, Thad. The NFL, as you know, is a week-to-week business, and you got to bring it every week. Got to earn the right to win. But the focus then comes back to us, like it does every week, no matter the opponent. It's where we are mentally as a football team, how we're growing and developing as a football team, and then just on the field, what we're able to execute at a high level on the football field. So I think that's really the general approach every week.
So when you look at, at the end of this week, when you talk about what a good week would be, on the scoreboard, obviously it's got to come with a win, but a win doesn't really differentiate you guys from the rest of the leagues, what everybody else has done against this team. Is there something that you're looking at that says we've gotten better because we did this week? We've
gotten better because we as a football team focus on what we need to do to get better. And that's true every week. Don't do that to the Jets. Let's have more respect in that regard. And let's take that winner's mentality. Winner's mentality is we approach every game the same way, same attitude, same toughness, respect every opponent. That's the way this business is, and that's the way we do it here in the Buffalo Bills. And that's what I'm focused on right now.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Adam Vanini. Hey, how are you? All right. You were asked this, I don't know, a week or two ago maybe, and I wanted to ask it again now. Are you more involved in the defensive meetings, and to what extent overall and how the defense is executed are you involved, if at all, and does that involve play calling right now?
Yeah, Leslie and I share in all of that. It's a we thing. It's not an I thing or a him thing in this case. It's a we thing, and I think Leslie does a good job of leading that effort. And obviously, I can't be around there as much, through the ebbs and flows of the head coaching job. But at the same time, I'm looped into what we're doing, and there's whether it's play calling or meetings or you name it, conversations. Just like our entire football team, I'm involved.
Is it fair to say more so now under the circumstances, or would you characterize it at a normal level?
I'd just say, it ebbs and flows. My involvement ebbs and flows with where we are as a football team. In this case, as your question's asking about the defense, it ebbs and flows with the defense because of, hey, yeah, we're playing well or we're not playing well enough. Why? And trying to dig deeper into the whys, and or we played well, and hey, let's celebrate those and let's make sure we're targeting those areas so we get those again to show up. And I think honestly, and where you're going, Adam, is defensively, I thought there were some good things the other night, but moving forward, let's get those and let's make sure that we have the right guys on the field. We're doing the right things fundamentally. We're growing fundamentally from front to back, and we're doing things that we have inherently done and have been a big part of what we've done defensively the last 3 years here.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, it's Jay with the Buffalo News. I apologize, a bit off topic from the football topics, but you only get one chance to talk to you guys, or a couple chances a week. With the election coming up, the organization, the players had made voter registration one of their key issues that they wanted to work on. Just from an organizational perspective, why was that so important to you, and how happy are you that they chose that as an issue to focus on?
Well, I think it's highly important for our nation. I would say it's also we had these discussions during the training camp days and weeks there, and certainly those are important discussions to have. And then, as I've said before, Jay, what's more important is the action, is to take action, right? Is to be committed to being involved in our community at the local level, being involved at the national level as best we can, but starting at home. And I'm proud of the guys for making that one of their top initiatives at this point in terms of taking action.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Coach, Dan Fates up in Rochester. I remember last year, a couple years ago, Micah Hyde said confidence is a hell of a drug. I think it's natural that after 2 losses, confidence could be shaken. How do you get this team's confidence back up to where it was 2 weeks ago when you were 4-0 and playing to your level of standard of Bills football?
Yeah, I mean, let's remember how we've built this thing, right? What's gotten us to where we are, not just this year, but over the last 3 years in the build. And then let's understand where we are in space and time. We're in October. We certainly want to continue to grow and get better, so we play our best football in the weeks and months ahead. And then also understand the gap that exists between us and where we want to be. And then let's fill that gap with knowledge and wisdom and work ethic and accountability and respect and teamwork.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Hi, Coach. It's Sal. Always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah. Sal, good to see you.
You too. Last year you had the Dolphins who were winless. They came in here. They gave you all they could handle. They scratched. They clawed. You know what it's like for a team to have their back against the wall and really trying to fight for that first win. I know you always want to be consistent in your approach and your message, but how much of that has to kind of be reminded that, hey, you got a team in here that's going to do everything possible, even, fake field goals, things like that, like Miami did last year, whatever they have to do to get a win.
Yeah, that's a lesson that I think we've learned over the course of the season already. But that said, that's where you come back to earning the right to win. Every week you got to earn the right to win in this league. And it also comes back to the start of every week, which is, hey, we're going to start with the health and respect for every opponent. Not too much, but certainly not too little. And so they've got a good roster over there, good players, and we respect them at a high level.
Can I ask you about practice today? John Brown and Matt Milano specifically, if they'd be practicing today.
John Brown will not practice today, and Matt Milano will be in limited at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. Wanted to ask you about Matt Milano, actually. I know, obviously, the way that he plays, when you're missing him, there's an impact there. But what's the ripple effect on the rest of the defense when you're missing a linebacker that can do the things that Matt does?
Yeah, Matt's a good player. No doubt about it, Matt. And really, if he's out there, we'd love to have him. If he can't go, then the next man has got to step up and do a great job. And I thought AJ did some good things the other night.
What have you noticed from Matt? Just general frustration, I guess, of the, being in and out of the lineup with injuries and just where his head's at kind of fighting through these things.
Yeah, the injuries are a natural part of this game. It's a physical game, and that's going to happen. It's a fast game. So we expect that, the ebbs and flows of injuries through the year. And like I said, we manage it and we stay positive, and knowing that player, in this case, Matt, that you mentioned, is going to control all the pieces he can control and get back as soon as he can. Outside of that, the team moves forward.